What's up, everybody? Stay with us. Today we'll be taking a look at the 2010 Chevy Avalanche LTZ. We're going to see how well this vehicle has held up over the past 9 years and also talk about some of the reasons on why Americans absolutely loved the Chevy Avalanche. Stay with us. Let's have a good time. Alright everybody, so let's take a look at the Avalanche today and see what it's all about. Of course, as always folks, this vehicle is for sale. So we will look at the current condition of the car and see how well it's held up over the years. Now, something about these Chevy Avalanches people love, I don't know exactly what it is, but I will kind of cover a few topics or a few things that I think is why Americans just like these Avalanches so much. But one thing is for sure, Chevrolet no longer makes the Avalanche. There's not even a whole lot of vehicles even like this in the marketplace here in America at all anymore. You know, vehicles like this have kind of came in and then they kind of went out. But it's basically a crossover between a full-size SUV like the Chevrolet Tahoe, and then they kind of give it a twist with adding a truck bed in the back. But not technically a real truck bed like Fords and Dodges and Chevy Silverados, but it does got a little bit of room to store things in the rear of the Avalanche. Now this one being a 2010 with the LTZ package does come with a 5.3 liter V8 under the hood. Definitely plenty of power out of that V8 motor, and you'll definitely be able to get some boats, jet skis, and trailers and things like that out and on the road if you need to tow something. This is a great color on this car. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front end of the vehicle. As you'll notice here, headlights are in good shape. They do have a little bit of oxidation going on, but not too bad. Front grill's looking good with the gold Chevrolet bow tie. And then I like the kind of crisscross applesauce X going on with the grill. Looking good. I like it. I really do. So for the most part, when you look at the Avalanche, you say, oh, Chevy Tahoe with a truck bed in the back, like we talked about earlier. We're going to take a look at the bed in just a moment, but let's go ahead and take a look at the 20-inch polished aluminum alloy wheels. You know, if you own a vehicle with polished aluminum wheels, I would suggest getting some Mother's aluminum polish to keep them clean. The 5 stars you can't go wrong with Continental tires. The tires definitely have about halfway down on the tread, so it could use a new set of tires here in the near future. We do have the running boards on the bottom, the Avalanche logo, and the LTZ is going to come with a lot of chrome accents on it on the mirrors, doors, and things like that. This one also has some roof racks up top in case you need to use them. Now here's where the back of the Avalanche becomes a little different, right? Or maybe just a little different from some vehicles out there. You know, Ford had one called the Ford Explorer Sport Track. Very similar, definitely not the size of this vehicle, you know, I mean this is definitely a lot bigger, a lot wider, and sits up higher. And the Ford Sport Track was very similar to this right here. Again, you know, it had this big plastic piece on top as you're seeing here today, and you can get back there and basically let me show you what we're going to be doing here. Also got a backup camera, but you're going to hit that button and drop that down, and then you'll notice that's where the bed of the truck ends up being. Definitely been used before. I mean, you got your dirt and gravel and stuff like that in the back, so we know someone used it as a truck. And that's pretty much the purpose of the Avalanche, is to be able to use it to get stuff in and out and haul stuff, but still have a ton of room in there to get the kids and family and co-workers in. This is a nice little piece here. You know, some call it a tunnel cover, but basically this covers up this area so it doesn't get wet in there or mess things up. You know, honestly, some people might like to have that on there, and then there's some folks that may not want that on there. You know, I'm not exactly sure if you can take it off or not. I'm sure there's a way, but most Avalanches that I've seen, they all have that on there. So there's the back of the Avalanche. It also has this little area here that kind of covers up that back window. I believe that that back window possibly does roll down, and we'll check that out in a moment to see. But this is definitely going to cover up anything you got back there so the weather doesn't get to it. You also got a tow package on the back, backup sensors, backup camera like we spoke about earlier. Let's go ahead and move forward and take a look up under the hood and then take a look at the interior, and then we'll take it out for a test drive. All right, everybody, so here's under the hood of the Avalanche. Most of them came with this engine, the 5.3 liter V8 Vortec. Pretty quiet, by the way. Let's have a listen. AC's running nice and cold inside the car. You don't hear a lot of noise from under the hood of this vehicle at all. Also, to let you know, the engine right here today has over 190,000 miles on it. So Chevy definitely runs deep. All right, everybody, follow me. Let's hop into the inside of the Avalanche, see what amenities that you have. Is it comfortable? How's the legroom, headroom, all that stuff. So, opening up the door here, we do got some pretty nice features, which are pretty standard features on most vehicles now in 2019, but pretty much most vehicles in general have power windows, power door locks, power mirrors. Back in 2010, if you bought an LTZ, you definitely did get the heated and cooled seats, which come in handy here in the South, at least for the cooled part. The heat part, I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't really use heated seats all that often, but if you live up north, it's definitely probably nice to have, just like here in the South. The AC cooled seats are really nice to have. Let's turn the camera view around and take a look at the inside. You know, so one thing I've always said about Chevys and just in general with their trucks, Suburbans, Tahoes, SUVs, whatever it is, they are comfortable. The seats inside of the Avalanche, they're just as comfortable as a seat inside of a Tahoe or Suburban. That's probably because they're the same exact seats in most of these vehicles. I mean, I think some of them have armrests on the side of the seats, but Chevy's going to give you a nice big center console there to rest your arm on if need be. Perforated holes in the leather lets it breathe and stay cooler, and again, that helps out with that heated and cooled seat part function on here. You also have power seat. How many directions do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different directions, including the lumbar support for your back. Definitely a ton of legroom inside the vehicle. Here's your steering wheel inside the vehicle. Now, a few things we'll talk about today. Again, this vehicle has how many exact mileage on it? 193,943. So not too far away from 200,000 miles on it. One thing people want to know is the vehicle going to have more highway mileage versus city mileage on a car like this? And today I'm going to let you know that this probably was more of a city mile driven vehicle compared to highway mileage. Indications like right here on your carpet, it's definitely worn in pretty good. Also on that pedal, you'll notice it's worn out really well right up in there. Now the metal's not showing yet, but you can definitely see the wearage going on that brake pedal there. Also got some wearage on the gas pedal, but definitely on the brake pedal, because in city driving conditions, you're going to be hitting the brakes a whole lot, coming up to stop signs, stop lights, in and out of traffic and whatnot. Now, one thing I'll tell you folks, it's not going to be a bad thing that the vehicle has city mileage on it, but you definitely want to take your time and test driving this car and really making sure that the transmission is rolling and shifting very smoothly there, because city mileage, of course, is going to be a lot harder on a transmission than necessarily having highway mileage where you're on an interstate or the back roads and whatnot driving back and forth to work. But people do drive, and living in a city like Charleston, it's a lot of more city driving than highway interstate driving. Again, we're in a city, and we're moving up to over 800,000 population right now. I don't know if we can hold any more people in Charleston. But another indication that we got more high or city mileage versus highway mileage, folks, is look at our steering wheel here. I mean, we have a pretty decent sized rip right there. My camera is definitely not wanting to change lighting conditions, consider them on the inside, but you can see it. You got a rip right there, then on the top of it is worn out pretty good right in here, and also down on the bottoms of the steering wheel is worn out as well. I'm going to show you one more spot in this car to see how worn down it is, and that's basically taking a look at our seat belt here. And of course, we got some discolorage going on and stains and things like that, which is pretty common on light colored interiors. But you always want to look on the steering wheel or on here to see how that belt is, if it's all frayed up and whatnot. And this one actually is in pretty good shape. So that's an indication that possibly the customer didn't wear their seatbelt as much, you know, because you're going to wear out that seatbelt pulling it on and off all the time and rubbing on your belt buckles and things like that. Anyways, other than that though, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual interior of the car. I think it's actually in pretty good shape to be 9 years old with that much mileage on it. There's your nav screen. The buttons in here are definitely not all worn out. You know, that's something we'll see right up in this area on Chevrolets. They're always getting worn down, and these little logos and stuff are basically wearing off the buttons. Not the case on this particular vehicle here today. You got your wood trim, storage in there, cup holders in there. And then the armrest is in definitely good shape. It's not all worn out. Color's still looking good. The seats are impeccable inside of this Avalanche. I mean, no rips, no tears that I can find anywhere. No varicose veins or anything like that on the seats. I mean, they're really in great shape. You also have an upgraded Bose stereo system on your LTZ package. Oh crap handles on A-pillars up front. OnStar comes standard on all General Motors vehicles. Sunroof. There is no DVD player, but let's take a look at the back seats. They're also in impeccable condition. I mean, just a couple little scuffs here or there. It does look like that back window may roll down, but I don't know. Let's take a look and see. This is for sunroof. Yeah, that back window is definitely not rolling down back there. And now that I'm looking at it a little more thoroughly, yeah, it's not rolling down. So anyways, let's see how the headroom and legroom is. For a guy 6'1", we got plenty of legroom in the front. Let's take a look at headroom. Headroom, not a complaint at all. Again, 6'1", we got plenty of headroom up top. I definitely know that if you're a little bit taller, if you're taller than me, like 6'2", 6'3", something like that or more, you definitely want to buy the version that has a sunroof because that definitely does open it up a little bit more in here for headroom. But good to go there. You know, I would say the interior of this car is pretty good. It's not too much, right? You know, some auto manufacturers really just kind of do too much on the inside. Now, what am I getting at here, right? Well, what I'm trying to get at is basically like colors, buttons, things like that. You know, Chevy's done a great job with this. I mean, you got your light gray here, you got your dark gray on the top parts of the panels, and then a light gray again on the top. I mean, the color combination looks really smooth in here, and again, it's not just over the top. The wood trim flows pretty nicely. I mean, that's my opinion. I like that color, kind of a dark wood. Looks nice in this car. And then there's not too many buttons all over the interior. It's got just the stuff you need, and they've done a great job of kind of consolidating things for that. I mean, if you go look at a Ford, let me tell you, Ford, I love them, but they got a ton of buttons inside of them. They really do. All right, let's have a look in the back seats, because if you got kids, or a lot of people riding in the back, that's really important. So let's have a look here. Now again, I was sitting up front just now. Now I probably could have rolled my seat up more. I haven't driven the car yet, so I didn't put the seat in position for me driving it today, but I will tell you, it's pretty tight back here right now. I mean, this back seat is really, I mean, I cannot close my knees. I mean, I couldn't drive like that. I'm pushing, pressure is definitely pushing on that seat right now. So if I were sitting back here on a trip and someone had their seat like this, I would definitely have to ask them to push it up a little bit more for me. Headroom's fine. We got tons of headroom, but again, leg room in the back is pushing it if you got a big person sitting up front and a big guy or girl in the back. Seats are pretty comfortable though, not bad. Let's take a look at our center armrest. You definitely got your cup holders and armrest. This configuration is I'm not a big fan of it. Again, y'all know what I'm talking about, but you definitely do got some room to rest your arm right there and still have your cups sitting in there. So I could live with that right there, but some companies put way too big of a cup holder in, and that's a big one, that really is. But anyways, we're okay. Again, like I said earlier, that back window does not roll down, and this is an LTZ. It's pretty much fully loaded unless you bought one with like a Z71 package. So for 2010, you're not getting a back window that rolls down. I'm not exactly sure on older versions of the Avalanche. They might have had a back window that opened and closed. Maybe they had a little square window right there that you could slide back and forth on older versions of the Avalanche. Again, the Avalanche has been around quite some time. I mean, they had a whole other body style, I think from like 2003 to 2008 or something like that, you know, older body style of the Avalanche. But anyways, room back here, not too bad. But again, it is a bit tight for bigger people. And that really makes me wonder, because a Tahoe and a Suburban, I do know they have a lot more room than this. I do think that when you purchase the Avalanche, this whole truck bed back here has definitely made the rear area for seating a bit tighter. All right, everybody, that's kind of concluding our review today. You know, I thought about it, you know, should we take it out for a test drive? I think I'm gonna hold off on that today. We have driven tons of Tahoes, Suburbans, and vehicles like that on the channel. not a whole lot of difference driving wise versus Tahoe or Suburban, okay? So I want you to understand that. You know, it definitely does have a nice rod. The 5.3 V8, it's got a good feeling under there, plenty of power, plenty of torque to do what you need to do and get up and out of harm's way if that's something that needs to happen when pulling out. So you got plenty of power out of that V8. It's a great motor, it really is. Everything seems to be running out pretty well on this Avalanche here. People are still buying Avalanches, folks. I mean, it wouldn't be here at dealerships today if people weren't still buying them. I definitely don't see as many of them on the road, but if I drove around today on a Saturday and went to the store and did those types of things, I'm pretty sure, I can guarantee, I'd probably bet money on it, I'll see some type of Avalanche on the road driving around here in our city. Other vehicles that have tried to kind of use this concept of an Avalanche would definitely be a Japanese company called Honda. The Honda Ridgeline really reminded me of a Chevrolet Avalanche back in the day, okay? So they still offer the Honda Ridgeline even today in 2019. The body style has changed quite a bit on the Honda Ridgeline, but when the Honda Ridgeline first came out, man, oh man, it looked really similar to an Avalanche. Just saying. Good try, Honda. Make a real truck, folks. Just saying, just saying. If you want a truck, go buy yourself a truck. Honda, great brand though. I'm not gonna say that they're bad cars. They're definitely not. I love Hondas. I drive Hondas every day myself. But the Avalanche is an Avalanche, and Honda, I think they should have maybe done something a little different. But that's just my information they're passing out to the universe. Other vehicles though, right? Who's another brand that has one that looks very similar to the Chevy Avalanche? Well, Ford. That's right. Ford does have the Sport Track. Of course, Ford and Chevy no longer make vehicles like this. Who else made one very similar to this? Well, it's part of the GM company, and let's just go ahead and say it. Cadillac. Cadillac had a version just like this, an Escalade, but it was definitely looking just like an Avalanche. So, there you go. I don't know if there's any other companies that have one just similar to this right here, you know, as in like SUV/truck, but I'm sure there's some out there. Have a great day, guys. Get in the comments section. Share a little feedback with us. I always enjoy reading y'all's comments. I'm sure other people do as well. We'll see you soon on the channel, Charleston Car Videos. Have a blessed day. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.